do. Okay, so here we go. Oops. 1 second. Start the recording. Okay, so this is OET Speaking Club. This week we've been focusing on understanding and incorporating the patient's perspective. This is one of the OET criteria in the speaking exam. And I want to just quickly review this with you guys here. So can anyone tell me how many criteria are there in the OET exam? Did someone say 3? How many criteria are there in the OET speaking exam?
Oh.
What's the answer, guys?
2.
There's 2 sets of criteria, okay? And what are they, Gabriella? I know that you know this very well.
Yeah. The first one is the language criteria.
Lexical, yeah, or you can just say language, yeah. This is more or less the same idea. So language criteria. And what percentage of your grade is this?
60.
60%. Does anyone know what they look at in the language criteria? What do they look at? What do they think about? Anyone?
Fluency.
Grammar, fluency. Yeah.
Like grammar, and I'm just going to say grammar, but it's more complicated than that. Yeah, so grammar, fluency, what else?
Pronunciation.
Pronunciation. They call it intelligibility in the exam, but it's very much more or less pronunciation. And there's one more, guys. Anyone? Appropriate of
Expression.
Yeah, expression, or I'm just going to say language. I'm going to be a bit lazy today, okay? So this is 60% of your criteria. We don't tend to focus on this because to get good at this, you just need to practice speaking every day in Speaking Club and get feedback from people. And we also have the clinical, can anyone finish this? The clinical
Communication criteria.
So Fatima, thank you. Clinical communication criteria. Now let's have some individual people speaking here. So Orhan, can you say hello, sir? Wendy, there's nowhere to hide.
Hello.
Sarah, hello. How many criteria inside this one? 40% of your grade. How many criteria are there? We have relationship building. We have IPP. Guys, can you help her out? How many are there? Relationship building, IPP.
Providing structure.
Providing structure.
Information giving.
Information giving.
Gathering.
Right. So I'm just going to use abbreviations here. Okay. So we always focus on these because they're very important. This week we focused on Monday. What did we look at, guys? I suppose that was my class, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Seems like a long week. Long time ago. For me, I'm sure for many of you as well, it seems like a long time ago. We looked at this one, didn't we? IPP. That's the topic of the class. How many of these are there? How many ways do OET talk about? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3?
3.
Fatima's saying 3. So Fatima, you're really good here. So if you can just not answer for the next questions, because I'm wondering if other people can give me the answer. Mandira. Do you remember what they were from Monday? Mandira?
Hello?
Hey, do you remember what they were from Monday? I think it was B1, B2, B3. If you don't remember, don't worry, we'll help you.
I think B1 is appropriate or something like that.
Almost, you're getting there. Can anyone help her? What is B1? Shout out if you know.
Exploring the patient idea.
Exploring. I think it was eliciting, right? Let's say ask, right? Ask for opinion. What else? Feeling. Ideas. What else, guys? Concerns. Okay. So what kind of questions can we use to do this? Orhan, Nyok, Barsha, you're completely new. You've not said anything in my class today. If you want to say hello, you're very welcome. What do I say if I want to ask for an opinion from a patient?
Alan, sorry, I'm here, but I just came from work and
I know often you told me before, no problem at all.
sleepy. Sorry.
No problem at all. I know what it must be like. So can anyone help Orhan? Wendy?
How are you feeling at this moment?
Yeah, just simply how are you feeling? And what else can we say? We can say how you're feeling. Can you
tell me a bit more about that? Or
about that? What else can we say? More interesting ones. Shout out if you know.
Is that okay with you?
Is that okay? That's not really exploring opinions and feelings, right? This is to make it clearer, guys. This is the key, right? How do we ask that? How about this one? Why do you think you are experiencing these symptoms? That's a great IPP question. Can anyone think of any more? Gabriella, maybe you can help us here, or Serap, Mandira.
Pick up on clues from the patients, and
I'm looking at language here, so I just want phrases from you guys. You've been studying this for 4 days, right?
okay,
And if you're seriously studying it, you should be able to give me some language. So how are you feeling? Can you tell me a bit more about that?
What brings you here today?
To me,
What are your concerns? Something
Yeah.
like that.
what are your concerns
Yeah.
okay.
maybe about these symptoms, or about this, you could say, right? So the point is, at the start of a conversation with a patient, ask them how they're feeling. And if they say, I'm feeling bad, have I understood their perspective? No, right? If they say, I'm feeling bad, you can say, can you tell me more? Right? You're trying to open them up and listen to them and give them space to talk. All right. What about B2? What's that one? B2.
picking up the patient's notes.
Yeah. So let's say, I'm going to say respond to notes. Picking up the notes, that's paper, isn't it? Picking up the case notes. I know what you mean. Can anyone give me the right language? Responding to... Now, that's what they say in the exam, Fatima. But what does that mean? Serap, could you say hello?
Hello.
Alice and Wendy. What is a cue? What is a cue?
The background, the patient's
expression,
Expressions.
non-verbal.
It can be non-verbal, Serap. It could be verbal. I'm just going to say, guys, look, signs.
Signs, yeah. Yes.
So, for example, guys, if you are talking and the patient goes, what should you do? Anyone, what should you do? You're talking and you hear, should you continue speaking?
No.
No, asking, is there anything bothering you or something
You
like
should
that?
respond to that. You should pick up those signs. So yeah, you could say, you know, is anything bothering you? Yeah, bothering you.
Yeah.
Is everything okay? You could just stop and say, is everything okay? Right.
Okay.
OET, if they hear you doing that, they're going to score you higher. They're going to give you more of a grade. Okay. Number 3, maybe Gabriella, Alice as well. Barsha. What did we say on Monday was number 3? Responding to signs, asking for opinions. Number 3 could be
Relating explanation to elicit ideas or concerns of patient. Like earlier you mentioned that. What do you mean by that?
Exactly. So I'm going to say previous statements, maybe previous things. Okay. So Gabriella, say that again. Earlier you
mentioned that. What do you mean by that?
So you might say that, or you could say earlier you mentioned that you are scared of.
Yeah.
Needle.
Could you please give me more detail about your experience?
But we need to make an explanation, don't we? It needs to be connected, right? Guys, it needs to be connected. So you might say, you know, I'm going to explain how to inject yourself with insulin. But earlier you mentioned you are scared of needles. Don't worry, I'll explain. It's very easy, right? So you're connecting your explanation somehow to what they said. So that's the idea. So this is what we looked at on Monday. Okay, then you had Lawrence and Paul coming in saying things as well. Does anyone have any questions about this? You've been looking at this now for the whole week. Does anyone have any doubts? Quite simple, really. Okay. Well, in that case, what I would like to do today is maybe have a performance. Would anyone like to perform today? I don't want to pressure people, okay? So I know sometimes nurses don't want to perform. So what I will say is that every week in SET, if you want to do a performance in the class, just ask us. And usually we do them on Thursdays and Fridays. It's a good way to test yourself and prepare for the exam. Why is it a good way to prepare for the exam?
Because we have a good feedback.
You will get some feedback from a teacher, and
Yeah.
you know, myself, Paul, Lawrence, we've all been teaching for a long time. But more than that, how are you going to feel on exam day, guys?
More confident.
You'll feel more confident if you do it in this situation, definitely. And also on exam day, students always tell me they're tired, but also very nervous. So you can do this. It's good to feel nervous. You can practice feeling nervous, okay? Now, if no one wants to do it today, that's fine, because I have lots of things I need to do anyway. But let me know if you do, okay? Now, does anyone remember the cue card from Tuesday? What was Tuesday's card?
About patient post-operative.
Fatima, say it again. Patient.
Post-operative appendectomy.
Is she right, guys? Was it post-operative? Does anyone remember? Post-operative situation?
Appendix.
Appendix. Okay, let's have a look. Is this the one? You're a 35-year-old parent.
Yes, this one.
Okay. So what I'm going to do today, guys, is you can practice this card, or you can practice any card you want, actually. Which one would you like to practice, guys? This one or a new one? It's your choice.
Yeah.
Do we want a new one? Maybe how many times have you done this? Probably a few times now. I'm going to give you guys a chance to choose your own. Okay. So here we go. Sorry about the noise here. I'm going to give you guys a link in the chat box. And what I want you guys to do is to follow the link, and it will be a link to our materials. Okay. When you get to the materials drive, can I ask all of you guys here to find some speaking that you want to practice, okay? Remember that we're focusing on IPP this week. So that means, oops, just gonna get the link here. That means, of course, you're trying to practice B1, B2, B3 if possible. So choose a card where you can do that, okay? Here's the link, guys. Can everyone just tell me, does this link work? Can you just tell me if this link works or not? And Barsha, you're saying you can't speak. Okay, no problem, Barsha, but this is a speaking class. Okay, so when you're in the group, people might be speaking to you. Maybe let them know in the chat box that you can't speak. Okay. Is that working?
Yes.
Yeah.